giving their lane into the hand of 1-1. They don't want to make this 1-1 actually snowballing in the hand of their opponent.
Well, the Paquito ban from Namibia is something very, very interesting. We've never seen a Paquito ban in the first phase so far in this tournament. So there's definitely something that Namibia has on Vietnam. Maybe it's possible data from their scrims where Namibia lost perhaps to Vietnam on that Paquito. We'll see. But Vietnam just prioritizing the ban towards that Kaja. Just like yesterday. They were actually the ones who played the Kaja and who lost on the Kaja in the mid lane though. So, Momo-chan, there are 3 possibilities right now that we've seen in IESF 2022 for Kaja. Mid lane, roamer, and jungle.
Yeah.
Dreams was able to get a win
Yeah,
on the roam.
on the roamer role. Yeah,
What do you think?
I thought if you talk about the first match just now, I just think that it's not that wise to take out Kaja, you know, to let your enemy take Kaja as the first pick. I think it's just
Very expensive.
with the divine judgment, it has a lot of potential to be done by Kaja. So I think it's quite unlucky though. But yeah, let's see. It's gonna be the next band coming from Namibia. It's Martis.
Ooh, Leomord is open. Momo-chan, the Leomord is wide open here. We'll see if they want to pick it up. They go for the Akai instead, Momo-chan.
Okay, they could pick this Akai or maybe another hero for Namibia, but Akai as the first pick for Namibia. Meanwhile, Vietnam, they has a chance to get Leomord, or maybe if they want to, they can pick out this Diggy. Okay.
I think this works. If they go for the Diggy and the Leomord, two
So
very
it should
prior
be
heroes.
a babysit gold lane.
Should be. but
Possibility,
they,
right?
They go for the Benedetta.
Wow.
Though, with the Diggy. But yeah, maybe because they've already picked up that Diggy, they're not really going to go for anything. They're not going to go for the gold laner first, right? They already know that with this Diggy, whatever they choose later on to put into the gold lane will always be winning because of this Diggy that's going to be constantly in the gold lane. But Momo-chan, yesterday we saw the Luoyi, we saw the Vexana as well,
Yeah.
and it did not work out. We saw 2 Vexanas yesterday from 2 different teams.
Yeah.
And both lost. 0% win rate on this Vexana. And currently they're hovering over. No, they just lock it in. The Hylos, that should be the roamer for Namibia. A very interesting pick, as again, that stun will be completely nullified by the Diggy. The eye for an eye as well from Benedetta.
Yeah. But I think Mortizi, he's very confident with his pick, with the Luoyi, with the Vexana pick here. But the thing is, the engage it should be totally different, right? If you compare to the first day, it still has like 0% win rate for this draft from Namibia. So they have to bring something else to us with the same draft like yesterday.
There's already a difference though from Team Vietnam. They really, really enjoyed playing the Carmilla. But Joga this time will just opt to go for the Barats. First picking it here, well, last picking it in the first phase.
Okay, but going into the second banning phase here, there's not gonna be Leslie be picked by Namibia. They can just ban out all of the gold lane
Oh,
here.
they
but
can.
Like maybe Clint.
Clint, Popo, and Koopa,
Even
those
though
are the 2 heroes.
yes, even though it hasn't worked yesterday, but it might be work for today. But there's no Cloud as well, since Vietnam, they also haven't chosen their own gold lane here. We still have a lot of options such as Melissa, or maybe Popol Koopa, or even Beatrix.
Yeah, the Beatrix has been a favorite here in this tournament. We've seen it many, many times.
Yeah.
The Ruby respect ban.
Ooh.
The pick that we spoke of earlier on.
Because Vietnam actually Namibia almost giving some pressure, you know.
Oh yeah. They had
towards
the Ruby
Cambodia.
definitely had an impact in the game, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the first pick. Wow.
That's
But
right.
now we're gonna see the final ban is gonna be the Yves respecting Vietnam, but like you mentioned, that's his name, right? Beatrix.
Beatrix.
Favorite picks up the Beatrix now. It's still
Another
for the export.
So actually this draft is like, you know, the combination between the game number 1 and game number 2 yesterday. It's interesting because
They're learning.
Yes, we will see. Maybe there's something, different approach that Namibia will bring to us for our first game. Xborg for Slicer, for sure. And who is the
I think it's going to be
gold
Popball.
lane?
Yep.
There you go.
That was the response yesterday from Namibia when Team Cambodia picked up the Beatrix. They went for the Popball, trying to win out in that lane, but now with the Farsa,
Ooh.
that's definitely going to be a bit of a hassle to deal with for this Popball and Koopa that's going to be outranged completely by, firstly, the Feather Airstrike, secondly, that Renner Snipe.
Okay, maybe the ultimate snipe as well coming from Leslie. I think it's gonna be a little bit troublesome, but still with the comfort pick.
Hold up.
Still with the comfort pick from Namibia. So I would like to see something different from this team. Right?
I'd like to see what they've learned, right? After yesterday's loss against Cambodia, a very aggressive Cambodia. Can they now actually play aggressive in the early stage and fix it? Because they have the Popball, they have the tools necessary to control this early game, and we'll see whether or not they're going to be able to do it here up against a team that are so good, actually. That is so good at holding on and weathering the storm.
Vietnam almost brought to us to the third game yesterday.
The first third game.
Yes, I know, right? Because, Malaysia, they almost got shouted down so many times by Vietnam in the second game, but after maybe some minor mistake from Malaysia, they finally beat it with 2-0. But here we go for the first game between Namibia versus Vietnam.
Let's see. Both junglers opting to go for the opposite route here. Joga on the purple buff. Meanwhile, you can see Numeraholic on the orange buff. And as we mentioned, wait a minute, bottom side, the King caught here in the 1v1. Slasher VT almost solo killing the King, who's still able to get out with the dashes and with a successful cut. That isn't too bad, but still, that's a lot of HP lost.
Actually, it's a high risk though, actually, for the King, because and suddenly Numeraholic got beaten in the mid lane, and it's gonna be a little bit, because it's the jungler. It's the jungler.
Oh
and
no, the purple buff.
Yeah, and the jungler from Vietnam will lead maybe like 1 or 2 level later on.
Uh-oh, bottom side, the King, who had 1 HP now, is back, and he's winning actually in the trade here. Bottom lane in the XP lane. The King going in for a kill right there on the bottom side, but look at this up top. It's going to be the Detonus welcomed by Joga. Caught in, stunning 2 members down for another kill over towards Vietnam's MDH Esports team.
Yeah, meanwhile, 2 members from Namibia need to go back a little bit. Here, looking very, very low for Mortizy and also NT.
So far, the game is looking to be kind of a deja vu to what we saw yesterday in the Cambodia versus Namibia match.
And I can see that Vietnam, they really done their homework, okay? They've done their homework here by trying to play aggressively in the early game.
Very aggressive so far, and even in this goal lane, what we mentioned came true. Zubskop unable to hold his own up against 2 members here, which they're going for. Reverse time and Nibiru's Passion. Zubskop taken low. They're looking for a dive here, and Zubskop will be taken down up in the gold lane, as that should be a turret as well taken by Vietnam. A turtle for free, no contest from Team Namibia. That's going to be terrifying for the airstrike, finding its mark, finding the kill onto Mortzy.
And still looking for more, but Numeraholic be able to run away. Meanwhile, it's gonna be the next target, which is Slasher. And Slasher, luckily, still find a way how to go back a little bit and don't want to force himself to join the skirmish in that bottom lane.
5-0 in 2 minutes. Slasher VT going to be taken down here as well. The King picking up another solo kill in the XP lane, and that is still Numeraholic, who's not getting any space to farm his own jungle. Purple buff stolen away. That's going to be the follow-up as well. The heavy spin defensively and the glorious pathway used with no follow-up will mean that Entropy will have to recall with very low HP.
God. It's looking very bad for Namibia, because in the first 3 minutes, look at that, the Feather Airstrike kills that comes from Need My Help. It makes all of the player from Namibia couldn't do much. Cannot do much here, and in the first 3 minutes, Namibia, they already lose their mid turret.
Slasher VT about to lose his life as well with the turret. Not just the mid lane fallen, but every single member so far except for Enterpy, who's still sitting at 0 deaths as a roamer. He's waiting for that moment right now to look for a big play, but it's going to be the Terrifying over to Joga, who's just going to walk them down with a Death is Welcome. Able to munch on one of the members here, spitting him out. Mort's going to be taken low, taken down with a airstrike,
wow.
as that's his 3rd death in the game. It looks like Hehe wants to go for more. Enterpy,
Oh, no.
the first death of the game for him, as that's going to be a double kill for Need My Help.
Oh my god, I think it's looking very bad for Namibia because they are, they are being driven away by Vietnam here. And Vietnam, they are getting snowballing and snowballing right now.
Well, snowball is a strong word here. For Vietnam, it's literally what they're doing, but I feel like snowballing is a bit of an understatement. They are absolutely just stomping Namibia currently. It's completely dominant right now as they are going to look to siege that mid lane turret. Lord hasn't even spawned in Momo-chan, and they're looking for that bottom side. For the airstrike to zone the other members away. Bennett's Rage as well, but the last Insanity to the back lines will deal a lot of damage. That's the first kill for Namibia as they are on the board. The King going to be pinned down, and that's another for Namibia. They're looking for more on the board. Joga still staying there. Needs to respect Namibia. And they do. They back off.
Yeah, they have to back off a little bit, losing 2 members from Vietnam here. I think they also don't want to force to play a little bit, maybe I can say careless, because even though they are dominating, but slowly but sure, Namibia, they can find their own way back.
I'm looking at it right now, Momo-chan. I'm trying to think about the win condition for Namibia. But even if, let's say they get to that late game, if they are able to weather this storm, this Popwell's going to fall off compared to the Beatrix. And they're getting baited in here. Purple buff taken out the poke from that feather airstrike.
Yeah,
It's
Namibia,
massive.
they really have to rely on this Zapscope, right? Meanwhile, Zapscope didn't get any space to do the farm. It's hard for him to farm right now, because all of the lane management is being controlled by Vietnam. And now look at the minions coming into the mid bastard. And look how free Hehehe. Look his Beatrix.
Momo-chan, Lord hasn't even spawned. We're still waiting for the 3rd turtle of the game. They're already in the base, cracking it. Death is Welcome popped in, heavy spin as well, but that's the time journey to negate all of it. The King under base, still able to get out for a bit before Slasher VT picks him up. Now the Beatrix with the Bennett deletes Mort like it's nothing, and they will be able to look for the base currently with 2 minion waves simultaneously pushing in the mid lane and that top lane. They're looking for the end. 6 minutes. This is for the record.
This is, I think, the fastest game if they can end this game in the 7 minutes game. But look at that. Need My Help. Still have the Pharaoh Astra. Looking for a good positioning here. But, North is still able to be taken down by Namibia. They are still holding up their base. They are trying to defend their base without giving an opportunity for Vietnam to finish the game as soon as possible.
Well, right now, that's the DBRU's passion. They're eating it up. Enterpy going to be taken down by the final blow in the dashes from the King. And that's another kill over for Vietnam. Momo-chan, they're looking for the end right now. Heavy spin, buying a little bit more time, but the time journey comes in as well. Now, with the Eternal Guard, they're trying their best to still stay alive, to survive the siege, but it does not look like they can. Last Insanity to the back line. Snart going to be taken very low, taken down with the Vexana, but it's still going to be a 1-for-1.
They are still hanging up in their own base here. Namibia and Vietnam, they even doesn't want to go back. They don't want to go back. They really want to force the team fight here inside the base of Namibia, and it takes a lot of risk actually.
It's crazy.
If maybe they can try to control the Super Minion from all of the lanes, maybe they can finish in the under 10 minutes game.
True. Numeraholic though, he's going to be eaten up again, taken down. Lord finally spawns in the Land of Dawn. MDH, Vietnam, completely ignoring the Lord, ignoring the 3rd turtle. They just want to get done with this game as fast as possible. That's Enterpy, who tries to soak in damage. That's Mort gunned down. And it is going to be another game under 10 minutes in IESF as Slasher VT tries his best in desperation to look for the defense. With a heavy spin from Numeraholic, it will not be enough, and Vietnam will claim the first game in 8 minutes.
I think this one is the fastest game, is it? correct me if I'm
7
wrong.
minutes was
7
Cambodia.
minutes.
Yeah, Cambodia had the record, 7 minutes
Yesterday. and
yesterday,
they-
up against Namibia.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Namibia they are seems still look very very lost as well in the second day. Especially this is the lower bracket match between Namibia and also Vietnam. So they only have a small chance here, Mirko.
One more game,
One
and
more
they
game.
will be eliminated.
They will be
Namibia,
out.
they're gonna have to find a new strategy. They're gonna need to pull out everything. They cannot hide any more strategies here.
Yeah, they have to pull out their
Their A game.
their A game, yeah. Because I just feel that this comfort pick that coming from Namibia still doesn't work at all.
The Popo and Koopa,
That's right.
the Vixana as well. Both of these picks we've seen twice now. The Vixana 3 times actually in this tournament, and so far they're all sitting at a 0% win rate.
Unlucky, but let's take a look to our highlight, which is the MVP goes into the hand of Joga. And unfortunately as well, that actually Vietnam, they done their homework yesterday. They played a little bit passive yesterday, but today they show to us their power in the early game. They play really aggressive. They try to, cut the minion in the second turret, which is it makes the actually Namibia need to go back a little bit, trying to distract it, giving a pressure as well to the player that try to cut the lane and clear the minion as soon as possible. And unfortunately, Numeroholic also got shut down so many times.
Look at the damage from the Beatrix at this point of the game. 4 minutes in, and she's dealing that much. Hehe. Those items for sure, Hunter Strike for sure, I think the Malefic Roar, and this was the moment where Vietnam actually made a mistake where Namibia were able to capitalize, getting 2 kills on the board, and it actually looked pretty promising for Namibia. Thing is, they weren't able to convert onto anything with the waves completely shoved in, and you could see slowly but surely Vietnam ignored the Lord, ignored the neutral objectives, just going straight for the base because of the lead that they already have.
Yeah, and I don't think so. I don't think so. This is gonna work for Namibia if they are still picking the same, maybe draft like yesterday or even the first game just now. I think Namibia they have to say goodbye in this tournament. But yeah, the hero pool is still become the problem for Namibia. They don't have much time, to learn
prepare?
all. Yeah, to not only to prepare, to maybe just to learn how to maximize their potential for the another hero here, such as they can use Lilia, or maybe they can use Benedetta actually rather than Axborg, even though Benedetta became the first pick for Vietnam. Aka is a good option, but you really need to rely on the other damage dealer here. Popol Kupa is not enough for Namibia to just giving a contribution for the damage here. And our MVP match will goes into the hand of Joga. This guy,
Solid player, man.
solid player. He didn't die at all. And of course, we will spotlight Jnart. Even though he died 3 times, but with this Digi,
He's
it
a roamer.
cancel. Yeah, it's cancel all of the CC that Namibia have with the heavy spin that Akai has. It is useless. Okay, he keep giving a poke damage as well with the alarm bomb, and he can't even pull out the enemy who wants to try to go back.
The reverse time, everything honestly comes
That's
in
right.
handy, especially just babysitting that gold lane, because we know that if the Popo and Koopa doesn't get snowballed early on or doesn't get turrets, it's done. Popo does not scale well to the late stage, and the Beatrix was able to find such a massive lead early on up against this Popo, so Subscott just wasn't really able to find or to utilize anything from this pick. And you could see one Windtalker, just the Windtalker built up for him here in the game. Meanwhile, for Hehe, man, BOD, Haas Claws, and the Malefic Roar.
Yeah. Oh my God, just too dominating for Vietnam. They seems they know that what they have to do, which land actually become their prio here. But without babysitting to Beatrix into the Hehe lands, I think Vietnam looks very, very okay with their own draft here, right? because they got Benedetta who can go back and who can goes into the back line here. They have Digi to just keep giving up pressure with the poke damage, and also the Barras with the Donas welcome. Whoever player that come from Namibia trying to dive in, he'll just use the Donas welcome and trying to turn back the table.
It's too tough, right? Because again, this is something that we've seen many times before.
Yes.
When you pick up an Akai, the opponents they have an option to pick up the Benedetta. With the Eye for an Eye, you can actually just stop that heavy spin from doing anything by countering it. And to add on to that, they also picked another counter towards the Akai. It's the Barats that cannot be CC'd, unstoppable when he is using or channeling his Detonus welcome.
That's right. Especially if he already got his passive right with the big guy.
He's a big man.
He's a big man. You know, you cannot stop the damage that's coming from that big guy. And we know how hurt and how painful is the damage is from Barrats. But yeah, and especially no one can touch Parsha.
No one.
At the backline. That's the problem. Namibia, they don't have Fusong. Okay, maybe they don't have Paquito, because they ban out that Paquito means there's no one can cut into the backline here. Meanwhile, Vietnam, they have Benedetta at the hand of the king. So it looks very almost perfect for Vietnam. Except they maybe sometimes, force themselves to just end the game as soon as possible since the minutes number 6.
Well, Momo-chan?
Yes.
Since we've had a lot to say, our telco operator partners, Telkomsel, has something to say as well.
Wow.
So guys, if you guys are looking for an amazing, fun game, let me tell you, the return of Condor Heroes, a very interesting game with amazing gameplay and thousands of characters that you will enjoy in the game. Let's make your favorite warriors be the strongest warrior in the world. And you guys can bring your clan to become the unbeatable clan. Download now on Google Play Store or App Store. For more information, you guys can obviously just visit the website condorheroes.duniagames.co.id.
Yes, and other than that, if you are staying in Bali, for you guys and who also have the Telkomsel point and want to get some awesome merchandise, you just can get, just come here. Come to Merusa Nusa Dua, because we have the venue. We have Telkomsel venue here, so you can redeem your points here. You can get free drinks, or even you want to, playing some fun games with your friends, just to get more than million rupiah every day. Please visit the booth of Telkomsel.
Man, Telkomsel on my smartphone. I've been using Telkomsel for years on my Samsung Galaxy A33 5G.
Wow.
So yeah, go ahead and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Redeem right now and check out Telkomsel points and the app to redeem those points. But again, getting back into the game, it's time for Namibia to finally collect some points.
They have to fight. They have to fight really hard for the second game.
If they're going to go down, if they're going to be eliminated, they need to go out fighting. They need to at least get one game, right?
They need to all out. At least make it 1-for-1. At least.
Yeah, because if they lose here, they will be eliminated with 0 games won officially.
With 0% win rate, of course, because they haven't won any game at all since the day number 1. So I think it's very an important game as well for Namibia. Vietnam, of course, they don't want to go home. They really want to go to the next bracket and maybe even try to fight to get the slot into the grand final, right? So I think this is their chance as well for Vietnam. But if they want to give some point and try, or maybe if they don't want to, they just can finish it with 2-0.
Well, let's see, because we are going to get into the drafts for game number 2. The decider on if Namibia goes home with 0 games, or will they be able to put up a fight, equalizing up against Vietnam. MDH Esports that won in the Mekong qualifiers for
MLBB, yeah. I know how hard maybe Namibia, sometimes we know maybe in their country they don't have a lot of this kind of tournament, right? Because it's kind of a little bit, it's hard for them to get an official tournament like this, or maybe a major tournament like this. So I think I can understand in the side of Namibia, but we will see how about the second game, because the draft pick started now. Akai It's gonna be respect ban coming from Namibia. And it's very interesting. Okay. Oh, sorry. Actually, yes, it's Vietnam. And Namibia is gonna be the second pick here, banning out that Funny.
Last time we saw the Fanny ban, then the Wan and then the Martis from Team Namibia when they were on the red side up against Cambodia in Game 1 of that match. This time the Wan is actually banned out by Team Vietnam with the Akai as well. So they're already showing respect to Namibia. Even though the Akai lost in Game number 1, it still was a problem for them to deal with, right? They weren't able to end the game because of the Akai that constantly used the heavy spin to clear out the waves, but now Namibia, they're still opting to go for the Paquito.
Yes, that's right. And now, look at that. There's no Paquito, there's no Martis as well. Namibia, they can ban out that Kaja. I don't think giving Kaja into the hand of Vietnam is a really
It's
good.
risky.
Yes, it's not really a good option for Namibia, but yeah. We'll see. Or maybe they want to just contest it with Valentina if they want to. But 100% Vietnam will go for Kaja as the first pick.
Leomord also is an option for
Yep.
Team Namibia right now, but they will just go for the ban towards the Benedetta.
Oh.
Respecting the king, but giving Vietnam the option to pick up a Kaja, Leomord, Valentina as well.
Yeah.
Valentina that gave them so much trouble in the first game up against Cambodia. And Vietnam can just choose to pick up the Valentina, dictating the draft from the get-go.
Yeah. I think Kaja will be the first pick for Vietnam, but no.
Valentina.
It's gonna be Valentina. Okay, and Namibia, they have their own nightmare right now.
You know, last time when a Valentina was first picked, Team Namibia, they picked up the Akai and then the Luoyi. So now with the Akai banned out, they can't go for that anymore. Luoyi still is an option. And another jungler that we have seen Numeraholic play is the Balman. They go for the Valier instead, which is honestly a solid pickup here, but is it a bit too early to reveal the Valier? A hero that's, again, very vulnerable, very squishy, very easy to kill. Argus pick from Namibia!
Okay.
In the jungle, it does seem like, wow.
Wow. Argus?
Wow.
It's very interesting because we know that how unique Namibia, right?
We saw the Ruby first pick. We
Yep.
saw the Luoyi. We saw the Vixana.
Yep.
Now we're seeing an Argus.
Oh, it's
And an
pretty
export.
interesting. Okay, export in the hand of Vietnam here. Meanwhile, Franco with the bloody hand and also the iron hook that coming from Vietnam, it's gonna be another nightmare for Namibia. Is
Or
it gonna
the
be Faramis? So Faramis Roamer?
Faramis Rome could be an option
Could
here. We
be.
have, or well, Valir Rome, right? It's also an option here for Namibia, but they will go and lock that Faramis in. Now into the second banning phase we go. Namibia, the first ban here. This last time they went for the ban towards the Ling and the Hayabusa, respecting Cambodia. Now, will they go for the same? Noticing that Vietnam have not picked up a jungler. No,
No.
they'll go for the Claude.
I think they will just ban out the gold lane, you know.
The Beatrix next.
Trying to minimize the option for the gold lane heroes here. Is it gonna be Beatrix or Melissa? Or another Popol Koopa?
Uh-oh, but now you're also seeing the bans come in for Vietnam.
Yes.
That's the Clint ban.
the clean
We
ban.
might see a Popol ban, and if we do see that, that means Zubscop is going to have to play a hero he's not comfortable with.
Wow, is it gonna be, you know, maybe a Lila? Because we saw Lila yesterday.
Oh my god,
Oh
you're right.
my.
Cambodia actually picked the Layla. It was a mistake in the end, Momo-chan,
Yeah.
because they picked Joy and it was disabled. But it's an Angela ban. Again, Namibia, they did lose. They lost to the Angela in the first game against Cambodia. Cambodia, with the Lapu-Angela combo, were able to just, they did nasty things, man. They just 1v4 wins, 1v5 wins for Boom. And now Namibia, from that game, have learned that, hey, maybe the Angela might not be a wise decision, right? But now I do think it's going to be the Popol Koopa ban for Vietnam. And oh, here it is. What will Zubscop play?
There's still Melissa left behind.
Melissa, Brody,
Brody.
Bruno, Beatrix,
Leslie?
Leslie, you're right.
Leslie, right?
Oh man, Leslie.
There's still a
thing
lot
is,
of
though,
options.
so far, Momo-chan, he's played the Clint and the Popo, both bullies in the
Yes.
lane, both really good in the early game.
Maybe
and
both of them are the most comfortable
exactly.
hero for
And
for
these two
him.
heroes are very good in the early stage, but he's lost in the early stage with
Yes.
the two best early game heroes. If he goes for something like Leslie, I don't think he's gonna have a good time in that gold lane.
Actually, he needs someone can give in the pressure in the early game, but this Terisla for the EXP lane, Namibia, they already have enough CC actually. And with this Terisla, we can see the team fight duration for Namibia is quite long because they have to call altar as well from Faramis.
Well,
Meanwhile, the Bruno,
oh.
like we talked about it earlier, is being picked by Vietnam. Meanwhile, Ling is gonna be the jungler for Vietnam.
Well, with the Ling and now the Bruno, we're seeing the exact same as yesterday we saw Civ from Argentina, from S11. Pick up the Bruno. He was absolutely amazing at that Bruno. Now, like you mentioned, the Leslie gets picked up.
Leslie.
Namibia now up against Bruno, up against that Neymar skin. Look at that. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. But what do you think on the drafts? about the
Actually,
drafts?
as I know, Namibia's draft here more into the mid until the late game. They have the early damage. It's only maybe from Valir, but not as much as Vietnam has. They have Ling here. They also have Valentina, which is with the Archangel is very, very painful. And also they have Franco as a pick-off hero here. So pick-off strategy might be work for Vietnam. Meanwhile, Namibia, they have to drag this game into the mid and the late game composition. So it will work for them. But if Vietnam keep forcing themselves to have a skirmish and also team fight in the early game, it's gonna be a nightmare for Namibia.
And if Bruno snowballs, man, that's a savage in the making. But ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready to jump into game number 2 of this match? Once again, it's Vietnam up against Namibia. Game 2. Vietnam have the chance to send Namibia home 2-0, not giving them a single game victory. But Nimraholic on the Argus is looking to change that.
Okay, meanwhile, there's no pressure coming from Namibia towards the purple buff. From Vietnam here, they just keep playing a little bit passive from both of the team, especially in Namibia. They play really, really carefully here. And Slasher giving us same pressure here. Meanwhile, the King is gonna be his 1 versus 1 situation. And look at the Petrify that come from Slasher. And he's able to back off.
Well, Turpy is going to be caught here and it should be a kill. But no, he actually gets out with the help of that sprint on that Faramis roam. So the Lethal Wanderer was actually secured, even though Joga was the one who used that retribution. But as I mentioned, this is it. This is what's going to happen onto the Leslie. Zubscop all alone in the gold lane. That's going to be Joga who jumps in, and that's going to be a kill for Joga onto Zubscop. Entropy rotated up top, but it's just for him to get slain by Hehe on that Bruno.
Oh my god. The first 2 members that has been taken down from Namibia, and we know this is what we discussed it earlier, Mirko. Namibia draft is more into the mid and the late game composition.
What?
So, and what in the
1
first
minute?
1 minute, and maybe he can get the second one, the second turret in the top lane. It makes that Zubscops totally cannot do anything.
What is he supposed to do against a Bruno? He picked the Leslie into a Bruno, this matchup that does not favor him. Especially with the Ling as well. There's so much kill pressure on this Leslie. And you can see 0-0 with the first turret taken down in the first minute of the game. They're looking to find compensation. Nimraholic here going to be suppressed by the Bloody Hunt, taken down, but he has his ultimate, so he's still able to survive. But the last Insanity is going to be popped by the King under the tier 1. They don't even care about turrets anymore. They take it down like it's absolutely nothing, Momo-chan.
Agree with that, and it's very, very hard. But look at that, the Iron Hook connects from the north here, trying to punish the anti with the Purify and also the Terrified that comes from the Need My Help here. It will make actually anti will able to survive. Meanwhile, it's gonna be Need My Help that will be shut down by the member of Namibia.
Early. That's the first kill for Namibia right here in the game. But the turtle still falls to the hands of Vietnam. And now it does feel like, again, it feels like NAMIBIA has lost complete control of the jungle now with the purple buff already being invaded on. The King, though, in a 2v1, goes over the last Insanity, dealing a whole lot of damage, but it's only the Cult Altar that gets popped. Meanwhile, down below, Slasher VT gets taken out. The King survives, and that's another turret over to the Bruno. Step the Blades popped in. Mort gonna be taken down. NAMIBIA as well as that's Joga absolutely just styling, picking up all the blades.
Oh my god. And in the first hour, 4 minutes here, we already have seen, we actually already see that the goal differences is just way too much from both of the teams. And there's another point kill coming from Vietnam in the mid lane here. Meanwhile, they just let the minion do the job.
And they're also helping the minions. That's the tier 2. Taken out in the 3rd minute of the game. Penalty zone by Slasher VT as he tries to deal damage, but up against a fed Bruno, you're not going to be able to out-damage him, man. That's the snipe coming in. He's 1 HP blocked in by My Help, who's able to jump in clutch with the flicker to help his teammate.
Oh, but meanwhile, the Iron Hook connects and Zubscope needs to run away, but meanwhile, Need My Help will try to follow up as soon as possible, and maybe it's going to be, I can say, more faster game.
It does feel like it is.
Yeah, you know, it could be done in under, I don't know, 7 minutes, 6
They're going for the record.
minutes?
Yeah, it does feel like they are going for the record. NAMIBIA here used his ultimate earlier, so he won't be able to survive in the skirmish. Joga with the Tempest of Blades. Didn't need to use the Tempest of Blades, but hey, that's swag points.
I just want to secure the point kill miracle. And now the left. They just got 4 turrets in the first 5 minutes.
They did. 4 turrets.
The dominance coming from Vietnam team. It's become a nightmare for Namibia. The mid-late game composition here, penalty zone comes in from Slazar, but look at that, the last Insanity connects to team member and 2 member downs in the mid lane.
Need My Help though, stole away the ultimate from the Argus, so is going to be able to survive that one. They're already looking to siege the base turret down in the 5th minute. Purple buff, the entire jungle, no, not just the purple buff, the entire jungle, Momo-chan,
It's being infected already.
It's Vietnam's now. It's technically, Namibia doesn't have a jungle at this point. They're stuck inside of their base. They're getting suffocated slowly but surely, and when a Bruno does that much damage to a Terizla,
Look at the volleyball.
Ow!
It's painful from Hehe because no one from Namibia can stop this guy. Okay, meanwhile, there's gonna be like 5 versus 5 situation in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, there's gonna be Argus comes up, but the last Insanity comes in. Penalty zone is quite a little bit late, and the killing spree goes into the hand of Vietnam, and it's left Zubscope, and I think it's gonna be another wipe out for Vietnam, and 6-minute games for Vietnam, 2-0 without any things that Namibia can do in the second game.
6 minutes!
6 minutes!
6 minutes!
6-0-1.
That's all it
I'm
took.
not mistaken. Is this the fastest game?
This is the fastest game
Oh my god.
I've ever casted in my life. 6 minutes.
think
Yesterday was the
me too.
fastest, 7 minutes.
In
And
this
now
year,
Vietnam have just broken the record. 6 minutes and 10
Wow.
seconds. Oh my god. Vietnam have knocked Namibia out in 6 minutes and a total game time of, I believe, 60 minutes from game 1 and 2. Complete shutout here in the lower brackets, the first match of the lower brackets. And I am
Totally speechless.
IESF continues to once again surprise me.
That's right. And congratulations for Vietnam. Finally, they continue their journey in the lower bracket. But unfortunately, Namibia have to say goodbye. And good game all play.
GG, well played indeed. The Bruno, that pick is so good when he gets snowballed.
It's not about the draft anymore.
True, but, you know, I feel like, again, Zubscop, Popol Koopa, Clint, 2 heroes that are early game centric. He hasn't been able to win any duels on those early game heroes. If he plays Leslie, right?
Yeah.
Bullied by the Bruno, bullied by Ling in the Franco.
Like I did.
What is he supposed to do?
Like I said it earlier, they need the early damage here. They don't bring Lilia, they don't bring maybe Clean because Clean got banned as well by Vietnam. They should maybe prio the gold lane in the third pick before the second banning phase. But they didn't do it, so it makes that Vietnam, they can just ban out all of the gold lane for Zipscop. So there's no option for Zipscop to have the early damage in his lane. And look at the combo here. The penalty zone comes in, but Numeraholic opened the ultimate quite too fast. So the follow-up is a little bit quite late for Namibia. Meanwhile, Vietnam, they have the last Insanity. So all of the player at the backline, it get punished really, really bad by the last Insanity they coming from the King here with Xbox. And our match MVP goes to Hehe, of course. Because without that at all, this Bruno, he got the first turret in the first 2 minutes, 2:30 I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Almost
a
3
lot of
minutes.
gold. 6 minutes, 1,093 gold. What is that
Wow.
GPM? Wait, that is unreal.
Oh
1,093.
my God. Can you calculate how gold per minute that he
That's
has?
oh my god, that's a lot of gold per minute, Momo-chan. Give me a second. I'm trying my best to.
You divided by 6, I think.
Yeah.
It's like 182 gold.
No, that's the GPM,
The
Momo-chan.
G-
That's the
oh,
GPM.
oh,
1,093
oh,
is the
wow.
GPM.
So actually he has like
Yeah.
6k.
He has 6k gold.
Oh my.
Yeah, so
holy.
that's the GPM already. 1,093. That's the highest GPM